Hello, welcome to the Minotaur Quiz Show. My name is Joe Brosnan and I'm joined with my colleague Allison Ziegler. Allison and I are both on the marketing team at Minotaur Books and will be your co-hosts this evening. I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Criminal Element. If you're not familiar with Criminal Element, it's the premier crime fiction online community. We post new book reviews, excerpts every day. We also feature original author essays and listicles weekly from some of the leading voices in the mystery and thriller genre. And speaking of, we have some of those authors here tonight. So after the event's over, after we've finished our quiz, tallied up our scores, make sure to check the site out, subscribe to the newsletter. It's definitely going to be something you enjoy. But now let's get to the games while we're all here. Before I introduce our authors, I'm going to let Allison explain a little bit of how everything's going to work.
Thanks, Joe. Thrilled to be here hosting the inaugural Minotaur Quiz Show with you. In the 7 years we've worked together, we've worked on some cool projects. I think hosting a quiz show might be this is it. So here's how it's going to work. There's going to be 6 rounds of questions. In the audience, you can follow along with the questions on screen or using the PDF of the questions that should be in the chat and also should have been emailed to you. There are different numbers of questions in each round, but each round is going to take around 10 to 15 minutes. Each will include points of varying difficulty, easy questions for 1 point, medium questions for 2 points, and hard questions for 3 points. You'll be able to see each question's point value on screen and on your PDF as we play. We are about to meet 4 wonderful authors who are going to be divided into 2 teams. 1 representative from each team will compete at a time, and the players will alternate each round. So only 2 contestants are going to be on screen at a time. If the team originally asked the question doesn't know the answer, or if they answer incorrectly, the other team will have a chance to steal that point. At the end of every round, we'll tally up the scores for that section. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. So without further ado, let's meet our first contestant. Elle Casamano hails from the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. She's the author of a number of award-winning YA novels, and her adult debut, Finley Donovan is Killing It, about a single mother and struggling novelist who gets mistaken for a contract killer at a Panera, came out this February and has taken Bookstagram by storm. I'm currently reading the next novel in her Finley Donovan series. Hello, Elle.
Hello, how is everyone?
Doing great.
Second novel in your series is called Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead. So are you ready to knock some questions dead?
Oh, let's state for the record, I'm here under duress and I need a really big shovel for this, but we're gonna go for it. Go Team Finley.
We wanted you to start trash talking. All right, I'm going to introduce our next author. We're going to bring to the screen Ragnar Jónasson. Ragnar is an international #1 best-selling author who has sold over 2 million books in 32 countries worldwide. He was born in Reykjavik, Iceland, where he also works as an investment banker and teaches copyright law at Reykjavik University. He's previously worked in radio and on TV as a reporter. And from the age of 17, he translated 14 of Agatha Christie's novels into Icelandic. And I have a feeling that might come in handy tonight. His critically acclaimed international bestseller, The Darkness, is soon to be a major TV series, and his most recent novel and his first standalone novel, The Girl Who Died, is available now. Hey Ragnar, thanks for joining us. How's it going?
Hi, it's great. I'm here from Reykjavik, and having the summer is just starting here.
You got your daylight.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so next, let's meet PJ Tracy. Tracy comes to us from outside of Minneapolis and is the best-selling and award-winning author of the Monkey Wrench series, 8 of which she wrote together with her mother, PJ. Her most recent novel, Deep into the Dark, is the first in a brand new series set in LA featuring up-and-coming LAPD detective Margaret Nolan and murder suspect Sam Easton. Hello, Tracy. Welcome to the
Hello. Happy to be here.
I was going to say for the end of your bio that you studied both Russian and voice in college, and are those going to help you tonight? We don't know. We'll have to see.
Absolutely not. I'm positive they won't.
All right. So now that Tracy's on stage, I am going to disappear for a quick second to make some room for Joe to bring up our final contestant.
Don't worry, we'll have Allison back soon. Last but not least, though, we are introducing Alex Finley. Alex Finley is the pseudonym of an author who lives in Washington, D.C. Born in Alabama, Alex's formative years were spent traversing the globe from a tropical island in the Pacific to a small village in the UK to a remote region in the Far East. But it was on vacation in Tulum, Mexico, that Alex was inspired to write Every Last Fear, which is on sale now. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Looking good. I see you also got the dress nice memo.
Yeah, it's the first time in a year, so this is great. I see you back on the whole thing.
I had to Google how to tie a tie. It's been that long. Alrighty. So moving on, we have now met our contestants. It's time to announce the teams. In one corner, we have Team Finley, consisting of Alex and Elle, and they'll be facing off against Team Snowblind, Tracy and Ragnar, who both have books called Snowblind. So it's going to be a great competition. If you have any predictions, if you're pulling for anyone, let us know in the chat. Our authors might not be trash talking, but we expect the comments to trash talk. It's the internet. And before we officially kick things off, Allison's going to come back on. She's going to share some details of the exciting sweepstakes we'll be running tonight. That's linked down below that you should see in the green text. She's coming.
I love that delay of just one author hopping off at a time. So as Team Finley and Team Snowblind put their thinking caps on, do some last minute Googling, and get ready to compete, we wanted to invite all of you in the audience tonight to enter our quiz show sweepstakes. 5 lucky winners in our audience will win hardcover copies of all 4 of our authors' recent releases, which are Finley Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano, Every Last Fear by Alex Finley, Deep into the Dark by PJ Tracy, and The Girl Who Died by Ragnar Jonasson. As we head into summer reading, this is just like a perfect summer reading bundle, so definitely don't want to miss out. And so you can click, there's a little green button below our faces that you can click and enter as we jump right into round 1, page to screen. Easy category, right? They're going to have no problem with it.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right. So we're going to bring up one person from each team in round 1. That'll be Alex Finley and PJ Tracy. And we're also going to bring on screen, because we want to keep everything above board. We're going to have a virtual coin flip to determine who goes first. So first we got to get the authors up and let them call it.
What'll it be?
You got Alex.
I guess I win.
And there's Tracy. Great.
I have a weird screen. Okay.
All right. So this is Google's version of heads or tails. So Tracy, why don't you call it, and we'll see if you're right.
Tails.
All right. Correct.
Oh.
So
I got the first answer right.
yeah, starting off with a bang.
Team Snowblind in the lead.
And so I assume you'll want to go first, but if you would like to defer, let me know.
Oh, I'll go first.
Okay, great. And just a reminder, so the question will be for one of you. If you get it wrong, your opponent can steal the points. All right. Page to screen is round 1's category, and we're off.
Good luck, everyone.
All right, first question. Featuring a genius tattooed hacker and a crusading journalist, this murder mystery entangled in a twisty family history is Nordic noir at its finest. A, The Snowman by Joe Nesbo. B, Snowblind by the one and only Ragnar Jonasson. C, The Crow Girl by Eric Axelsson. D, The Girl with the Dragon Tattooed by Stieg Larsson. And this is a 1-point question.
It is. All right. I hold up my card now.
When it's in this format, when it's just the multiple choice, you can just tell me your answer. You don't need to hold it up.
Oh, okay. The girl with the dragon tattoo.
Correct. All right. Good job. We got our first point on the board for Team Snowblind. All right. Next question's over to Alex. Starting with some easy ones just to kind of get everyone going, feeling good. What was the name of Sherlock Holmes' sister in the 2020 Netflix film featuring Millie Bobby Brown? A. Enid, B. Enola, C. Elena, D. Erlaka.
B.
Congrats. Yes, that's correct. And just a little plug, stay tuned as Minotaur Books will be publishing the latest Enola Holmes mystery next year. So make sure you're following us along, and we'll have more information on that as we get closer. All right, moving on. We got a score of 1-1. Moving on to question 3. Hollywood stars Myrna Loy and William Powell depicted this married sleuthing couple based on characters from Dashiell Hammett's novel on screen in 1934 and then in 5 more sequels. Was it Mickey and Jennifer Linehan, Sherlock and Shirley Holmes, Nick and Nora Charles, or Sam and Vivian Spade?
My idols, Nick and Nora Charles.
Many people's idols in the chat, I would guess. Congrats, yes, that is correct. So that was another 1-point question, so it is 2-1. We're rolling. Question 4, another 1-pointer. Which film marked moviegoers' first on-screen introduction to super spy James Bond? Is it Thunderball, From Russia with Love, Dr. No, or Goldfinger?
I'm guessing I should know this. I'll go with B.
B is not correct.
Oh.
No love there. So we have an opportunity, our first chance to steal. Tracy?
Oh, Dr. No?
That is correct.
Yeah.
A 1-point swing, 3-1 Team Snowblind. All right, this one's back to you, Tracy, and this is our first 2-point question, so things are going to get a little harder. Who played Walter Mosley's investigator, Easy Rawlins, in his first cinematic outing, Devil in a Blue Dress? Was it Don Cheadle, Tom Sizemore, Albert Hall, or Denzel Washington?
Oh, I am going to say Don Cheadle.
No, that is not correct. All right, Alex, chance to steal. Do you have it?
Denzel Washington.
Correct. That ties things up. And just a little bit of a script note, we did pick Don Cheadle and Tom Sizemore because they both were in Devil in a Blue Dress. They just didn't Easy Rawlins. So we were trying to trick you a little bit. Sorry about that.
Well, you did.
All right. Next question. This is the final question in this round. So we have a tie score. I believe it's 3-3. And this is another 2-point question for Alex. The ABC series Get Christie Love, based on Dorothy Unak's novel, The Ledger, made television history for what reason? Was it because it interrupted the Super Bowl? Was it the first live killing shown on network television? Was it the first Private Eye series shown in color? Was it the first crime series to star an African-American woman?
I don't know. C.
No, C is not correct. All right, Tracy, you have a chance to steal and end the round up and winning.
All right, let me think. D.
Correct. And that actress was Teresa Graves, for those fans at home. All right, that concludes the page to screen section of our game. The score, I believe, if I'm keeping track at the top, it's 5-3 Team Snowblind. St. Martin's confirms in the chat. We are moving on to the next category, the Golden Age of Mysteries. We're going to kick off Tracy and Alex. We're going to bring up Ragnar and Elle, and Allison's going to MC this one.
Just so everybody knows, in the audience, all of the questions are being loaded into the polls section. So if you want to play along and, tell us what answer you think is right, definitely play the polls as our contestants are playing in real time. Welcome on stage, Ragnar and Elle. Are you guys ready for the Golden Age of Mysteries?
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right.
Ready.
So since Team Snowblind has pulled slightly ahead, we are going to have Team Finley kick this one off. So Elle, first question is you for 1 point. Who wrote the first Marlowe book, The Big Sleep? Was it A, Raymond Chandler, B, James M. Cain, C, Robert B. Parker, or D, Raymond Carver?
I'm going to say A, Raymond Chandler.
That is correct. All right, over to you, Ragnar. Number 2, who disappeared in 1926 and resurfaced 11 days later? Was it A, Nio Marsh, B, Vera Caspary, C, Agatha Christie, or D, Raymond Chandler?
That will be Agatha Christie.
That would be Agatha Christie. That is correct. Tied so far in this round. Back to you, Elle, for question number 3. This one is ramping up a little bit. This is a 2-pointer. A prize bearing her name is awarded annually for the best New Zealand mystery, crime, and thriller fiction writing. Is it A, Janet Frame, B, Nio Marsh, C, Catherine Aird, or D, Peter Jackson?
Ooh. I do not know. And so I'm going to take a stab and say C.
It is not C. Ragnar, do you want to steal?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm going to go for Nio Marsh there.
That is correct. Successful steal. And I just want to call out that D. Peter Jackson is the director of the Lord of the Rings films. Keeping with the New Zealand, motif there. All right, so this one is you again, Ragnar. Who penned Mildred Pierce? Was it A, George V. Higgins, B, James M. Cain, C, Stephen King, or D, Carl Hiaasen?
I think that was James M. Cain.
That is correct. Question number 5, back to you, Elle. This one for 3 points. What is significant about the murderer in Arthur Conan Doyle's story, Silver Blaze? Is it A, the killer is a horse, B, he wears a deerstalker, C, she smokes a pipe, or D, the killer is a ghost?
Oh. I'm going to go with C. She smokes a pipe.
It is not C. Ragnar, do you want to steal this one?
I'm going to go for A.
That is correct. The killer was, in fact, a horse. It's a tricky one. All right, back to you, Ragnar, for the last question in this round, again for 3 points. Who wrote The Tiger in the Smoke? Was it A, Marjorie Allingham, B, Michael Innes, C, P.D. James, or D, Dorothy L. Sayers?
I think that was Marjorie Allingham.
That is correct. That is correct. All right. Well, that is a wrap on round 2. So I'll just wait for unlike Joe, I can't keep score and read questions at the same time. So whenever St. Martin's Press tells us who's leading in the comments is when I will tell you the score, unless Joe, you've been 16-4 Team Snowblind. So Team Snowblind is pulling a little bit ahead. However, we are just warming up here. So the game is, still very much afoot. As we lead into round 3, this is when you'll want to get out your sheets of paper because we are heading into the matching section.
All right, yes. So we're going to be doing memorable first lines from famous crime novels. I believe we're going to switch Ragnar and Elle out here. I'm not. Yeah, so there goes Ragnar, there goes Elle. We're going to bring back up Alex and Tracy. This is going to work a little differently. All of the lines and all of the possible matches are going to be up on screen in a moment. And the authors will have a couple minutes to kind of get their answers written down in order or hold up. And then we're going to ask them to hold up A, B, C, D, or E for each line. So they can both score points at this point. It's 1 point per correct answer. No stealing this round. I think we can move on to the next slide. And Alex and Tracy, do you have your papers, cards
Yes,
ready?
sir. I'm ready.
Alrighty. So here we go. I'm gonna read these out loud for everyone at home. We're going to give you a couple minutes to, read them all yourself and get your answers ready. So the first one, nice and short. It was 5 o'clock on a winter's morning in Syria. Number 2 is Miss Jane Neal met her maker in the early morning mist of Thanksgiving Sunday. It was pretty much a surprise all around. 3, last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. 4, when I finally caught up with Abraham Traherne, he was drinking beer with an alcoholic bulldog named Fireball Roberts in a ramshackle joint just outside of Sonoma, California, drinking the heart right out of a fine spring afternoon. And number 5, when a fresh-faced guy in a Chevy offered him a lift, Parker told him to go to hell. So I know these are a little hard. We have some people in the chat saying as much. But there's some clues in there, I think, if you know the books, that can help you. So giving you a few minutes. When you both think you have your order placed and you're ready to go, let us know, and we'll reveal the answers.
These are pretty tough. I feel like there's 1 or 2 that most people are going to get, and the others are just going to be a little bit of a guessing game.
Correct.
Definitely. I'm glad we're on this end of the game.
Oh, me too. I can't even read questions and keep score. You think I can answer them? No. Do you have a memorable first line of any other novels that has always stood out to you, Joe?
I will actually say I think number 4 here is one of my favorites. It's a very good book for those. We'll learn its identity soon, but highly recommend.
Like, what book is it?
Yeah, what book is it, Joe?
You'll learn soon.
Yeah, these are all great first lines, I would definitely have to say.
Oh, okay. So let's see. Are we holding up the things we're writing or not?
In a moment, I'm going to say, all right, which one do you guess was number 1? And then you'll hold up A, B, C, D, or E, and you'll both do it at the same time.
Okay.
We should have had the Jeopardy music queued up for this part.
I was thinking you would have that.
I feel like that just adds tension.
It does. I also want to point out that Criminal Element says in the chat that our moderators cannot be bribed. And just personally, I can absolutely be bribed. Just whatever you want.
Yourself,
You know?
I should have tried you first, Allison.
Yeah, we're easy.
I think I'm ready.
Cool. How we doing, Alex?
Struggling. All right, go ahead. This is going to be okay on my end.
Here we go.
I know one of them.
All right, number 1. It was 5 o'clock on a winter's morning in Syria. On 3, hold up your letter. 1, 2, 3. Got 1 guess for The Hunter and 1 guess for Murder on the Orient Express. The correct answer is E, Murder on the Orient Express. Nice job. The clue I thought there was winter. I wouldn't have remembered Syria, but that snowstorm stops that train. All right, number 2. I'm not going to read these all again. We can all read along.
No.
Number 2. I guess hold up your clues now. Your answers, I mean. 1 guess for C and B. It is C. 2 for 2 choices. Little Louise Penny kicking off her series with those lines. All right, number 3. Let's hold them up. Correct. Both of you, B, Rebecca. All right, my personal favorite. Going on to number 4. Had some people in the chat agreeing with me, so that was nice. What do you guess? Got a guess for D. Tracy, are you holding it up? I can't. Yeah, perfect. D. Yeah, correct. The Last Good Kiss, James Crumley.
We're on a roll.
Yeah. Tracy's cleaning up, which makes me guess she got her last one correct, or she's 4 for 4. So,
Yeah.
yeah, correct. Both correct on the last one. Is The Hunter. All right, cool. Congrats. We're going to switch back over. We're going to do a similar type of scoring system the next round. But instead of first lines, we're going to be matching the authors to the line instead of the book. So a little similar, a little different, but we're going to get up Ragnar and Elle right now. Great. All right, we can move on to the next slide. So same type of system. You guys are going to have a minute or two to read through these, get your answers in order. I'm going to read them right now. First one. When I think of my wife, I always think of her head. Number 2, I was arrested in Eno's diner. 3, I sat in the back pew and watched the only woman I would ever love marry another man. 4, I feel compelled to report that at the moment of my death, my entire life did not pass before my eyes in a flash. And number 5, some years later, on a tugboat in the Gulf of Mexico, Joe Coughlin's feet were placed in a tub of cement. So we'll be matching the author to their line, to their famous first line, and I'll reveal the book when we give the answers.
Again, these are pretty tough.
Yeah, we got everyone's hopes up early with some nice easy questions.
These one-pointers will trick you. How's
Alex,
everybody in the audience doing?
We got Alex Finley in the comments saying he knew all of them to this one. The wrong one.
Always happens that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, tough breaks.
So I'm looking at the polls, and it looks like. Oh, are these loaded into the polls? Oh, yes, they are. Nobody's voting in the polls. I want to see what the audience thinks. All of these are. How many of these 5 books have you read, Joe?
Ooh, let's see. I have read only one of these books, but I have read all of the authors.
All right.
So
Yeah, that beats. I've only read one of these. I must admit, but these lines do make me want to jump in.
yeah, there's some good ones here. All right, how are we looking? Authors, if you have your answers ready, you good? Ragnar, are you good? As good as you'll be. All right, let's get to it then. Number 1, when I think of my wife, I always think of her head. Hold up your card. One guess for Gillian Flynn and one guess for Harlan Coben. The correct answer is Gillian Flynn. And that memorable line opens Gone Girl. And if I remember correctly, it also closes Gone Girl.
Huh. That's a good
Yeah.
piece of trivia.
I think so, at least in the movie. All right, number 2. I was arrested in Eno's diner. Let's see, put up your guesses. We got, 2 guesses, both correct. Lee Child, that is from his book, The Killing Floor. They're always in a diner, pretty sure. All right. Number 3, I sat in the back pew and watched the only woman I would ever love marry another man. Put up your guesses. We got one guess for Harlan and one guess for Dennis Lehane. The correct answer is Harlan Coben. And that was from his novel 6 Years. And number 4, I feel compelled to report that at the moment of my death, my entire life did not pass before my eyes in a flash. Let's get those cards up. Yes, both got it correct. That is Sue Grafton from I is for Innocent. And number 5, some years later on a tugboat in the Gulf of Mexico, Joe Coughlin's feet were placed in a tub of cement. It would mean that line. Hold up your answers. Correct. L is that is Dennis Lehane, and that is his novel Live by Night. So got a little bit of a comeback for Team Finley. It's getting closer. And
closing that gap.
Yeah, nicely done, Elle. We're gonna have a score update in the comments in a second. 23-12. There's still plenty of points on the board. I think we're almost all 2s and 3-pointers the rest of the way through. So expect these scores to keep increasing. And I'm gonna hand things over to Allison for round 4.
All right, round 4, notable characters and heroes. We're going to bring back up Alex and Tracy to start this one off. So because Team Finley is still a little bit behind, Team Finley will go first. So are you guys ready? Alex, this one's for you. Question number 1 for 2 points. Who created Lord Peter Wimsey? Was it A, Donna Leone, B, Kelly Oliver, C, Dorothy Sayers, or D, J.M. Dalgleish?
Let's go with C. Just throwing a dart at a board.
C is correct.
Oh, all right. I actually knew that.
Nice job. Yeah. Fully confident in that one.
I knew it all along.
You did. I knew that. Question number 2 for you, Tracy. Who created Maigret? Was it A, Alexander Dumas, B, Arthur Rimbaud, C, George Simenon, or D, Albert Camus?
I'm going to say C, George Simenon.
That is correct. All right. Question number 3, back to you, Alex. Who created Travis McGee? Was it A, John D. MacDonald, B, Robert B. Parker, C, Richard Stark, or D, Lawrence Block?
A.
Correct. That is correct. John D. MacDonald. Moving on to question 4. Who created Gravedigger Jones and Coffin Ed Johnson? Tracy, was it A, Walter Mosley, B, James Baldwin, C, Chester Himes, or D, Tyson Sykes?
C, Chester Himes.
That is correct. Man, this is a good round. All right, let's see if we can keep it going. Back to you, Alex, for question 5. Who created Tom Ripley? Was it A, Ira Levin, B, Robert Harris, C, Iris Murdoch, or D, Patricia Highsmith?
D.
Correct. All right, bring us home, Tracy. Question number 6. Who created Dave Robichaux? Was it A, Michael Connolly, B, Dennis Lehane, C, James Lee Burke, or D, John Stanford?
James Lee Burke.
That is correct. Wow, excellent round. Both
Good round, Alex.
Thank you. Finally.
All right, that was a good one. I wasn't expecting a round where everybody got everything right, but with mystery authors, I mean, I should have anticipated that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wait and see what the score is. 29-18, Team Snowblind still a bit ahead, but Team Finley's catching up as we head into round 5.
All right, yeah. Round 5, we'll be doing pseudonyms. So we'll see how well everyone knows the true identities of some of these authors. And we got Ragnar and Elle back, and I believe Who just went last? I'm sorry, I should.
Oh, I think that was team Snowblind went last.
Yeah, that was Tracy. Okay, so we're up to L. This is a 2-pointer, I guess. Ruth Rendell is the pen name of A, Ruth Westheimer, B, Barbara Vine, C, J.A. Jantz, D, Marion Chesney.
I'm going to go with B. Fine.
Correct. For those at home, Ruth Westheimer is actually Dr. Ruth, and Marion Chesney we all know as MCB. All right. Number 2, over to Ragnar. Elizabeth Peters is the pen name of A, Barbara Peters, B, Barbara Mertz, C, Ellis Peters, D, Elizabeth George.
I'm gonna go for D.
You say D?
Yeah.
D is not correct. L, you have the opportunity to steal.
I was going to say the same. So let's go with A.
No. All right, we stumped you both. The correct answer was B, Barbara Mertz. Barbara Peters is the owner of the bookstore in Phoenix that we all know, the Poison Pen.
That's probably why it sounded familiar.
Yeah, definitely related. All right, cool. Moving on. This is right back to you, Elle. John Le Carré is the pen name of A, David Cornwell, B, George Smiley, C, Francis Walsingham, D, Bernard Cornwell.
That would be A, David Cornwell.
Correct. All right, moving back over to Ragnar, the fourth and I believe final question in this round. Ellery Queen is the pen name of A, Caroline and Charles Todd, B, Frederick Danae and Manfred Bennington Lee, C, Iris and Roy Johansson, D, Roger Taylor and Brian May.
That's B, Frederick Danae and Manfred Lee.
That is correct. Good job. And yes, Talia, that was a little Queen reference for letter D. Gotta have some fun with our question writing. All right.
So glad that called that out.
You caught us. That concludes pseudonyms in round 5. We'll have a point update quite soon. And we'll be handing it back over to Allison, and we'll be getting our other authors up now.
Round 6 isn't actually prize winners. It's just band member names. So that's going to be just our lightning round, going forward. Scrap all this mystery business. All right. As we wait for Tracy and Alex to come back up, we will get ready for our prize winners round. And this is our final true round. There's a tiebreaker question at the end that if there isn't a tie, we're going to have the audience answer that question. So we'll see where we end up at the end of round 6 as soon as we get Alex up here. How are you feeling, Tracy, about your standings leading into the final round?
I'm feeling like I've just been bestowed a miracle.
You guys are doing
great. This is so much fun. I love it. It's great.
Did you do any studying before this, or are you just kind of coming into this cold?
Actually, I did kind of flip through and do a little bit cramming because, I've read so many books. How can you remember everything?
Right.
I confess.
All right. Now that we have Alex up, welcome back, Alex.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry.
No problem at all. We are on to our round 6. So we are going to start with Alex for question number 1. Which James Lee Burke novel won both an Edgar Award and, please pardon my French here, France's Grand Prix de Littérature Policière? Was it A, The Neon Rain, B, Black Cherry Blues, C, Heaven's Prisoner, or D, The Glass Rainbow?
I'll go with A.
It is not A. Do you have a different guess, Tracy?
I'm gonna guess Black Cherry Blues.
That is correct. Now say it in French.
What Grand Prix de Littérature Policière?
That was excellent. I should have had you asking these questions.
Don't ask a French person if it was.
All right, question number 2. This one is for you, Tracy. In addition to winning the lost my train of thought. In addition to winning the CWA's Dagger in the Library Award, what other Dagger Award has Anne Cleves won from the CWA? Is it A, steel, B, gold, C, diamond, or D, gold and diamond?
I'm gonna go B, gold.
That is not correct. Alex, do you have a different guess?
I'll go with C.
It is not C either. All right.
It's A, right? Isn't it? It's A.
It's not. Nope. It's not A. So
Process
of elimination.
Together, you were both right.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Why did we even divide you into teams? You know, clearly
I
everybody
know.
has worked together. So yes, the correct answer was gold and diamond for Anne Cleves, another of our Minotaur authors. Moving on to question 3. This one is for, who just went? Is this one for Alex? With the
Alex.
steel? Okay. So back to you, Alex. The Nero Award is an award for which of the following? A, Best American Mystery Novel. B, Best International Mystery Novel. C, the Best International Mystery Short Story. Or D, the Best Body of Work.
B.
It is not B.
I'm gonna go with D, Best Body Work.
It is not D either. Anybody want to take a third guess?
A. It's A.
Yes, it's A. It is A. Best American.
My first instinct's right.
Okay, question 4. The Barry Awards were first given out in 1997. Who won the first Barry for Best Novel? Was it A, Elmore Leonard for The Bounty Hunters, B, Dennis Lehane for A Drink Before the War, C, P.D. James for Cover Her Face, or D, Peter Lovesey for Bloodhounds?
Is it me?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, all right. A, Elmore Leonard.
That is not correct. Alex?
Oh,
My instinct is D, but I'm going to go with D.
D is correct.
See, never go with my instincts. That's
Excellent steal for the final question in our main round. So I don't believe we have a tie with our contestants. So we are still going to ask our tiebreaker question. And everybody in the audience should put their answer in the poll once it goes into the poll. So yes, just got a score update. We are 34-26 Team Snowblind. So it does seem as though Team Snowblind pulled out a win on this one. But before we do, the closing ceremonies, let's see who in the audience is going to win this final question. Where did the name of the McCavity Award originate? Was it A, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, B, An Idris Elba Role, C, McCavity, British Columbia, or D, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot? Let's see what people are saying in the polls. It looks like an overwhelming 17 votes for D, many runaway for D, Do you contestants on screen agree with the D?
I do.
Alex, what about you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. See if votes keep coming in. Looks like it's kind of calmed down a bit at the 23 votes for D in the polls. And you are all correct. It is D, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot. All right. So, Joe, do you want to start off the official closing ceremonies?
Sure. So before we get the score officially locked in, I just want to thank all of our authors who participated tonight. It's not easy to go up on screen and, answer questions that you haven't seen before in front of a bunch of people who you don't know who they are. So thank you for all that. We do appreciate it. I hope you had fun, because this was a blast to set up and do. And judging by the chat, I think everyone at home's having fun too. That brings us to our final score. In a poll-to-poll runaway win, we have Team Snowblind edging Team Finley by a score 34-26. Congratulations. And
should we get the other half of Team Snowblind up on screen?
I think we must, yeah.
Who in the chat got the best score? What's everybody's scores? Drop them in.
We saw a lot of people commenting. Seemed like some people knew a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And some people guessing wrong. It was good to see as question writers. We're doing our job. But
that's some very knowledgeable.
Good job, Ragnar. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Team Snowblind, and to our winning team, I virtually present to you these two tiny little trophies for a huge achievement. So congratulations to both of you.
Exactly, yeah. Ragnar, just give it like 2 to 3 months for them to get ice.
Can't promise it's going to hold up in transit because it's from the dollar store, but we'll see what we can do.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Should we get all 4 authors back up on stage just to say thank you and bye to everybody? I think I might get booted off for space if we do that, but I think we should say goodbye to everybody.
Sure, yeah, let's bring them up. Allison, this was fun. Thanks for handling all the French questions. I appreciate it.
Lots of practice. Thank you to our authors. This was a wonderful event. Thank you to everybody playing in the chat, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.
All right, and this is just my last reminder and plug to enter the sweepstakes. We have linked below. It's the green box that says sweepstakes. We're giving away a copy of all of our participating authors' books to 5 winners. And one more time, those books are Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Casamano, Every Last Fear by Alex Finley, Deep into the Dark by P.J. Tracy, The Girl Who Died by Ragnar Jonassen. So make sure you enter and line your summer up for just tons and tons of reading. And make sure you're following our authors on their social media. Make sure you're following Minotaur Books, Criminal Element, all those good places to keep hearing about more events like this, because we'll be doing more, and more sweepstakes, more just all that good crime fiction content. So thank you again to the 4 of you for joining us tonight, for being a little bit of our guinea pig as we do our first Minotaur quiz show. I hope it didn't scar you. And I can't wait to see, all of you soon and read what you have coming out next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great.
Super fun. Happy writing, everybody.
Yeah. All right. Everyone have a great night. Thanks again for stopping by, and everyone in the crowd, thanks for joining and playing along at home.
Thanks.